everyone, and welcome back to the end of Kerbal Space Program, a series in which I endeavor to find the end game in KSP. As per usual, we are in CCAN adding a mod. Today's mod will be Alternate Resource Panel, an alternate view of vessel resources plugin for Kerbal Space Program. So I've made a decision to not keep MKS. I think just overall, it's going to cause too much lag, and whenever the frame rate drops below 60, it frustrates me. And when I get really frustrated, it makes me not want to play. I really wish this game was better optimized, but because we're getting rid of MKS, I'm going to get rid of life support as well. I don't really want to play with life support if I constantly have to resupply. So this episode, I'm going to bring home the station that we put into orbit last episode. At least we fulfilled the contract. And then send a communication network to Duna to prepare for science mining there. We still need to go back to the moon and finish up there, and then on to Minmus. Might skip Minmus. We'll see. Okay, first up is the parachute modules that we're going to attach to the station. And then I also put a docking port on here so we should be able to use this upper stage to deorbit it. Let's get this thing up there. In case you wanted to know what it's like, this is real time, pretty much the whole way, including all of the docking and everything. It's not so much the low frame rate, although that's annoying. It's that it stops after like 5 frames, about a second. That, with the low frame rate, is really annoying. That's why I don't use OpenGL, is because it does that same kind of stuttering thing. When I played Real Solar System, that always really annoyed me. Okay, let's recover before this decides to explode. If we can. There we go. We still need quite a bit of money, and there's a few Joule contracts that we could take. Enter the atmosphere of Joule is one of them. Since we have a satellite around Joule, let's go ahead and take that and get that done. Science data from space around Lathe. Transmit or recover science data from around Lathe. Doesn't require being at any height, so we'll probably get an encounter eventually with that. Science data from space around Tylo. We've already gotten that, but I'm pretty sure we can find another encounter with Tylo. But before we complete those contracts, we're going to toss a little communication satellite at Joule with our new reusable 10-ton launcher. So without further ado, Alright, now it's time to return the second stage. I have a locked tank. I don't have power generation on the second stage. I meant to put some on there, and I probably will. So we have a limited amount of charge for right now. So this tank will unlock that. So I'm going to see if stage recovery will recover this by itself. So I should switch back to this one. And then we did get 97% back for the first stage. It landed at a velocity of 1 meter per second. Propulsive landing, of course. And we'll see what this one does. Should recover it right around there. It did. Impulsive landing, nice. For 96%, awesome. All right, so this is on a trajectory for Joule, and it looks like before the mid-course correction, we're going to have our Duna window and fly the communication, the high altitude communication network for Duna. But in the meantime, we need to go to Joule and get these contracts done. Okay, we have a connection. So the first one we're going to tackle is enter Joule's atmosphere. And we don't want to go too far into this because we have solar panels that we can't retract. Do we have RCS on this? I don't think we do. Oh, we do. Okay, good. I'll use RCS for this then. All right, so that should be good. Just a teeny tiny bit right there. That shouldn't destroy our solar panels. That will affect our Apple apps. Probably not much. Yeah, it doesn't look like it'll affect it at all. All right, let's do that. And that was pretty close. We almost lost our solar panels. All right, next up is Lathe, and luckily we have an encounter, actually, on the very next orbit. So I'm going to set up probably a close pass around the front side rather than the back side, which is what this is, because this is going to throw us on an escape trajectory. And then we'll grab some science and transmit it. For Tylo, we have 27 megameter separation there, so we're just going to turn on the engines here and do a small burn. Let's see, activate this. Wait, how much fuel do we have? Oh, it's full. Okay. Plenty of fuel. And we'll just get a bit of an encounter here. And then I'm going to tweak with this with RCS, and we'll grab some science from there. All right, that completes that set of contracts, and we are 26 days away from our window for Duna. So let's jump to launching the COM network. Alright, that's just about a perfect encounter. We can ditch the inner stage that we have here because it's just a tank. It's a dumb inner stage. It doesn't have a control module or power generation or really anything other than an engine and fuel tank on it. So we can do like a suborbital trajectory, ditch this, and then take our two satellites, which I should probably show you. Jump out of time warp and go normal. The dish is intersecting the interstage fairing, which is fine. We can just decouple it and then time warp. But yeah, pretty simple. It's the RA100 100 gigameter antenna and some RCS and two of the Twitch engines with a FLT 100 and then a control module. There's actually a hidden battery in here too. So let's just set this up so it is focused on sun. Well, not focused on sun, but it rotates relative to the sun. And then we need to switch to Explorer and do our mid-course correction.
Invincible.
I'm sure those will drift a bit, but we have a decent connection with everything in the system and out of the system. And that'll also give us a relay for things going to Dres and other things in the future. What is this one? Oh, did that get thrown out? Oops. That must have had an encounter with one of the moons and got thrown out. Does it have a periapse? It does have a periapse. It's going to get really close to the sun. We could use that science. 511 kilometers, so we're at apoapse now. Let's see if we can decrease that a little bit. I'm not sure where the umbra begins. Is it umbra? Is that the correct technical term for the atmosphere of the sun? Trajectories probably isn't going to calculate, is it? 60 kilometers? Or that's megameters. I can't even see it. All right, I'm going to stop at 40 because that looks like it's inside. Periapse. And probably about an hour. In 10 minutes. And delete on close. So that's going to be 231 days. So we have a while. But as I was saying, we finally have a communication network around Duna that's up and working. This should be somewhat synchronous. I'm sure they'll drift a little bit, but they're not going to encounter Ike like the last ones did. So they should stay up. Might want to add more just for better coverage, but for now that's fine. And that is going to do it for this episode. So I'd like to thank you for joining me, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.